My dear students, in the last class, we had studied the classical approaches to the organization behavior. So, these days we were studying the various approaches to the organization behavior, how the organizational behavior topic as such developed. So, we saw in the classical approaches like scientific management, administrative management, and bureaucratic management, how they are given a kind of interference to the human resource or the behavioral aspects. So, now we are going with one step ahead, and that is neoclassical approaches. And in this category, the organization behavior subject as such is finding its base. Therefore, from the point of view of organizational behavior subject, this approach is one of the important, because two of the approaches were developed which are very relative to the organizational behavior. They are human relations approach, or another human behavior or human resource approach. So this is there is a slight difference between human relations approach and human behavior approach. So now onwards, in the neoclassical approaches, we'll make a attempt to learn a little about these two things. So neoclassical approach. So according to neoclassical approach, human resources should be given more importance. So in the neoclassical approach, what is stressed is, in the organization you have so many things, so many resources, as we have said, land, capital, technology, various kinds of the resources are used in the production processes. But what should be given more importance is the human resource than physical resources, not your material and all other things. But because here this approach always says it is all other resources are moved by the human resource. So this approach came around 1930. So before than that, we are aware that classical approach was existing: scientific management, administrative management, or functional management, bureaucratic management. So it is divided into two approaches. So already we have spoken: human relations or human behavior approach. Let's go ahead. So now we are taking up a first this one, that is a human relations approach. So human relations movement. The second major step on the way to current organizational behavior theory was the human relations movement that began in the 1930s and continued in various forms until 1950. See, this approach existed from 1930 to 1950. The practice of management which places heavy emphasis on employee cooperation and morale might be classified as human relations. So they are more importance of this what you call concept is employee cooperation and morale. Be having what you call be effective and efficient working group. Raymond Mills states that the human relation approach was simply to treat people as human beings. Treat people as human beings and not like the animals. Give a proper rest, give a importance to them, appreciation and coordination, create a friendly atmosphere, all those things. So human beings require that. Instead of machines in the productive processes, acknowledge their needs to belong and to feel important by listening to and heeding their complaints. See, whenever he brings in complaint, listen, don't shout where possible, and by involving them in certain decisions concerning working conditions and other matters, then morale would surely improve and workers would cooperate with management in achieving good production. The human relations movement, popularized by Elton Mayo and his famous Hawthorne studies conducted at the Hawthorne plant of the Western Electric Company. So all experiments were conducted in the Western Electric Company. In many ways, it remained the foundation of much of our management thinking today. So the experiments that were conducted in the Western Electric Company, that is existing at Hawthorne. Remember, that's why it is called as Hawthorne experiments, and he conducted 4 experiments that we'll see in the next slide. So he had conducted 4 experiments, and that were conducted in a Western Electric Company at Hawthorne. So, and it has become a base for further explanations of a human resource. Before the Hawthorne studies officially started, Elton Mayo headed a research team which was investigating the causes of very high turnover in the mule spinning department of Philadelphia textile mill in 1923 and 1924. So before than that, researchers were showing interest in that field in another company. So with them he had consulted. After interviewing and consulting the workers, the team set up a series of rest pauses which resulted in greatly reduced turnover and more positive worker attitudes and morale. So he conducted various what you call experiments in different phases. So what are the experiments he had conducted? He had conducted 4 experiments. So they are illumination experiments, relay assembly test room experiments, mass interviewing program, bank wiring observation room experiment. So today I may not be able to explain you all the 4 experiments, and I feel that I need not stress much on this because in your first year MCOM, you have studied in management theory and practice various the managerial approaches. They are the same here. We are explaining once again, and I am teaching you this because these are the important aspects. This is a base of the organization behavioral subjects too. That's why I am telling you this. What you call going little speed, so that I consider that you are already knowing it. So let's go one after the another experiments. Now first, illumination experiments. Illumination experiments were undertaken to find out how varying levels of illumination, that is the amount of light at the workplace, a physical factor, affected the productivity. The hypothesis was that with higher illumination, productivity will increase. So, it was the target to identify with the illumination, means light, the working productivity will change. If you put more light, then more productivity. If you reduce the light, then productivity will be less. That was the hypothesis. In the first series of experiments, a group of workers was chosen and placed in 2 separate groups. One group was exposed to varying intensities of illumination. So, 2 groups. One is varying illumination, giving a high and low and all to identify. And another is constant illumination. So, since this group was subjected to experimental changes, it was termed as experimental group because there is a light variation is conducted on that group. So another group called as a control group continued to work under constant intensities of illumination. The researchers found that as they increased the illumination in the experimental group, both groups increased production. When the intensity of illumination decreased, the production continued to increase in both the groups. So nothing change took place. Illumination increased, decreased, their production go on increasing. No change at all. The production in the experimental group decreased only when the illumination was decreased to the level of moonlight. Moonlight means so low, dim light we call, no? So they brought to the dim light on, then automatically they feel what you call not working, not feeling like to work because light is not proper. So that condition. Till then it did not affect. When the intensity of illumination decreased, the production continued to increase in both the groups. So the decrease was due to light falling much below the normal level. When light was much below the normal level, so much below the normal level, that time automatically what happened is their production capacity became lower. Thus, it was concluded that illumination did not have any effect on productivity, but something else was interfering with the productivity. At that time, it was concluded that human factor was important in determining productivity, but which aspect was affecting it was not sure. Therefore, another phase of experiments was undertaken. What it says is illumination experiment was conducted, but with the illuminary experiment, the result found it has no impact. Illumination has no effect or impact on the productivity, because with the changes of illumination, the productivity never changed, it remained the same. Therefore, they found that there should be other factors. Illumination is not the factor to increase the productivity. That was one experiment he conducted with the light. So second experiment he conducted a relay room experiment, that will be looking at. So second experiment is relay room experiments. Relay assembly test room experiments were designed to determine the effects of changes in various job conditions on group productivity, as the illumination experiments could not establish a relationship between intensity of illumination and production. For this purpose, the researchers set up a relay assembly test room. Two girls were chosen. For this, two girls were chosen, and this experiment was designed to determine the effect of changes in various job conditions on group productivity. It is not a individual productivity. That's why they chose two people to select the groups. So it was changing the job conditions of the group and not of the individual. Whole group involved there, and some conditions of the what you call job conditions are changed. In such situation, how they respond to the productivity, to see that. So these two girls whom they had selected were asked to choose more for more girls as co-workers. So you know that two people will be standing and calling their team. Such way they form the team. Two girls call other all workers with you. You are leader and others are co-workers. So the work related to the assembly of telephone relays. So that work was assembling of the telephone relays. So telephone wire relays, what you call room, this one work was there, and each relay consisted of a number of parts which girls assembled into finished products. So it's nothing but a process of production. So in the production process there are various segments, so each departments are there, and they have to join together and do the work. So final product is a what you call production of a group and not by individual. So each process is done by different people. Out of depended on the speed and continuity with which girls worked, the experiment started with introducing numerous changes in a sequence, with the duration of each change ranging from 4 to 12 weeks. So in each this one what you call job condition, one changes were brought, and that changes were remaining for 12 to what you call 4 to 12 weeks. It was not a same time. So one change brought for 4 weeks or 10 weeks or 12 weeks it was kept, and just observed how is there any change of the what you call productivity. That was the interest, to find out the changes in the job will bring the productivity. That's why these groups were formed. An observer was associated with girls to supervise their work. So one observer was made to supervise the work, how they work with the changes. Before each change was introduced, the girls were consulted. See, changes were not made without consulting, just not brought. So they were consulted. If you bring changes like this, how it will happen. They were given opportunity to express their viewpoints and concerns to the supervisor. In some cases, they were allowed to take decisions on matters concerning them. Okay, always they are supposed to consult their supervisors. At the same time, in some cases, they were allowed to take decisions on matters concerning them. So in the relay room experiments, what were the changes brought and what was the resultant outcome? What was the outcomes? We'll see one after the another. So many changes were brought. Here we have 5 changes that were brought. So we'll see. The incentive system was changed so that each girl's extra pay was based on the other 5 rather than output of larger group, say 100 workers. So what they did is, incentive system was there, and incentive system was actually what you call of the larger group, and now they changed that each girl's extra pay was based on the other 5 rather than output of a larger group. just other 5 workers based on that, means who is nearly working there, and with them it is what you call increment system, or the incentives were changed. So the productivity increase as compared to before. So when the incentives were given, productive was increased a little comparatively. Okay. Two 5 minute tests, one in the morning session and other in the evening session, were introduced, which were increased to 10 minutes. The productivity increased. So tests were conducted for the work. See, always supervisor comes and does a small test. Your job is okay. 5 minutes were done, but now 10 minutes were done, and with that also productivity little increased. Third, the rest period was reduced to 5 minutes, but frequency was increased. Means rest was given more time earlier, but now only 5 minutes. The productivity decreased slightly, and the girls complained that frequent rest intervals affected the rhythm of the work. So now what you call 5 minutes resting periods for a long many times they were giving, but with that what effect, it negatively affected. So productivity came down. The number of rest was reduced to 2 of 10 minutes of each, but in the morning coffee or soup was served along with the sandwich, and in the evening snack was provided. The productivity increased. So automatically when you give something to eat, productivity increases, they will be happy. Changes in working hours and workday were introduced, such as cutting an hour off the end of the day and eliminating Saturday work. So the girls were allowed to leave at 4:30 p.m. instead of usual 5 p.m., and later at 4 p.m. Productivity increases. Changes in the working hours and work day were introduced, such as cutting an hour of the end of the day and eliminating Saturday work. So what you call, they eliminated one day and every day 1 hour reduced. So productivity increased because they felt happy. So these are the changes they made, or slight changes in the job condition. So and they have found that there is something better. So they gave incentives, changes in the incentive brought, in the rest timing interest, changes they made, tests what they rests what they were conducting in the morning and evening, that they changed, and accordingly some changes they brought, and productivity also changed. So relay room experiments. As each change was introduced, absenteeism decreased, morale increased. Morale means the character of work, character at a work, and less supervision was required. They were need not be supervised like earlier. It was assumed that these positive factors were there because of the various factors being adjusted and making them more positive. At this time, the researchers decided to revert back to original position, that is, no rest and other benefits. Surprisingly, productivity increased further instead of going down. Now you see what happened is, these changes they made, and they were asked to work, and productivity increased, they have found. Now they removed all those changes that are made, and they brought back to the original situation itself, how they were working earlier, like that only they worked, but the productivity increased again. So what is the reason behind that? This development caused a considerable amount of redirection in thinking, and the result implied that productivity increased not because of positive changes in physical factors. So productivity increased not because of positive changes in the physical factors, but because of the change in girls' attitude towards the work and their work group. Their attitudes changed. It is not that what you call physical factors affected their job, rather their attitudes change with the rest and all those things. And because of the attitudinal changes, what you call your productivity also affected. They developed a feeling of stability and a sense of belongings. Since there was more freedom of work, they developed a sense of responsibility and a self discipline. The relationship between supervisor and workers became close and friendly. A kind of atmosphere change, attitudes change, and because of the attitudes and because of the what you call mentality of the workers, their productivity increase. So this is a conclusion from the relay room experiments. So we saw two experiments, illumination experiment and relay experiments, and in both that what you call it is not because of the experiment some changes took place, physical things or this one, rather what you call here we see something of the psychological changes brought this change. Now third one is mass interviewing program. So this will be seeing mass interviewing program in the next class, because if I give you everything today itself, then you will not be able to concentrate. Therefore, tomorrow we will be seeing another two experiments that were conducted at a Hawthorne in the electrical company, that is mass interviewing program and bank wiring room study. So that we'll be studying this Hawthorne experiments. Then we'll be going to the another study, that is human behavior approach or human resource approach. So thank you.